He's Mike Tirico, the popular host of NBC Sports. Mike, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I didn't hear you earlier. I'm sorry. I thought the show last night was actually really good.
Yeah, I thought that it had its moments. But do you remember, do you have a favorite SB moment?
Oh, well, the V moment, obviously, because we were at the point, Chris Myers and I anchored SportsCenter after that. You and the rest of the VIPs were there. Weren't you there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we were always told, look, this is a very important show right after the ESPYs. That's why we have you guys anchoring. Meaning, sorry, you're not invited.
Weren't you like the two guys, the two Muppets who were up in the balcony? That was you and Chris Myers?
No, I don't think I did that either. I went to a few of them afterwards. And then, honestly, I've watched the ESPYs at the British Open for most of the last 15, 20 years because it's that same week. So I haven't been in the States. This is the first one I've seen live in a while. I thought Peyton was great. But you're right about the old days. It was hard to get athletes to come. So if you saw them, you had a good idea they were going to win. However, I think it's very genuine that the athletes are happy to be there, and this generation has grown up with the ESPYs meaning something. So good to the people at our old place who invested the time in it, because last night I was thoroughly entertained by the show, and Peyton was, as we shouldn't be surprised, he was unbelievable. He was so good.
Do you think Kevin Durant was acting when Peyton Manning...
I do.
Okay, Seton, would you play the Peyton Manning joke involving Kevin Durant? Then they had a cutaway to Kevin Durant and then Russell Westbrook.
And our gymnastics team was so dominant that Kevin Durant told me he wants to play for them next year. And I got to tell you, I don't think he'd start for that team, Kevin. Yeah. Russell Westbrook, what do you think?
That was great.
It was great, and I really, really thought that Durant was in on the joke.
Oh, I do too.
But everybody didn't think that. I was shocked. I thought I was being, maybe I'm the one who's dumb and being duped. But then when Durant got up on stage a couple of times, he was serious, no business, playing the role of not the happiest cat in the room. So maybe I was wrong. I don't know.
I thought that they were both in on it.
Yes. Westbrook looked like he was dying to laugh, didn't he?
But Durant just won a title. It's not like he lost and then they made the joke about it. He won the title. He should be smiling at everything that they had last night.
And it's the ESPYs. You hit it, though, what you said a moment ago. The line of the night was Edelman. That's fabulous.
Yes.
About Peyton indoors. That was great.
All right, I have this idea with the Conor McGregor-Floyd Mayweather fight. And McGregor and Mayweather addressed it yesterday. But, Seton, would you play that for Mike Tirico? Here's Floyd Mayweather with my idea.
The bag got books, and we're going to show you what the books look like. If you believe in yourself like you say you believe in yourself, bitch your whole fight check, you no problem. Send the contract, kid. It's done.
Okay, how about winner take all? And doesn't make that the biggest spectacle in sports history, that $200 million could be at stake? What do you think?
If, let's say, you're McGregor and you lose, Mayweather's at the point where he's okay. And obviously McGregor's made a significant amount of money. If you're McGregor and you take that and you lose, do you really limit future earnings?
I think he's going to do well because of how he's promoted himself in this tour, that he's showcasing himself.
He'll certainly do well on Showtime and other pay cable,
yes,
where he can continue this language.
You're right about, though, you're not going to get this fight again, a fight of this magnitude. But wouldn't that make it the big? If you're Dana White and you go to them and say, guys, people are going to keep asking about this. You guys are talking tough. Why don't we just put up or shut up? Put all the money in the middle. Everybody's all in. It's the World Series of Poker. Let's go. Let's play.
Yeah, would it increase the intrigue? Absolutely. Yeah. I think this tour was brilliant because they're hitting the right places, hitting 3 countries in 4 days, all that stuff, and they are really creating interest with the unique part of it too. The boxing was great when the personalities matched the quality in the ring. We haven't had the combination of personalities and quality in a while. McGregor does within his sport, so you add the intrigue with the big build up here, and maybe they will get a mega event. I'm still surprised that they're doing it at the end of August. I don't understand, and I don't know this game well enough. I don't understand why you don't do this later on in the year. Usually there's always a big pay-per-view fight in November, late in the fall when it's football season and people are around. The last big weekend of summer there, before Labor Day, I just think you're taking people away from home and you can't maximize your audience. I don't know. Those guys are smarter than me.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to stay away from the football season or the fact you got ahead of the Triple G Canelo Alvarez fight.
Yeah.
But I don't look. Dana White has made his billions or millions by being a great marketer, so I'm sure they have some strategy. By the way, the official announcement for Mike Tirico, the introduction. Tune in this Saturday, the launch of the Olympic Channel, home of Team USA, brand new 24/7 home of the Olympics, allowing fans to connect with Olympics, the Olympic sports, athletes, and stories all year round. Still waiting on official confirmation here of Los Angeles or Paris for the 2024 games. What do you think the holdup is, and how do you decide between Paris and Los Angeles?
Well, it looks like the IOC, from everything they said this week, will award both at once. And the question is, can they negotiate comfortably between the two cities so one gets one for 24 and the other will get 28? Obviously, they both want to go in 24. Do you want to be on the clock for 11 years waiting to host an Olympic Games? Needless to say, that will be the most planned out Olympic Games of all time. But they'd like to do both announcements at once. Both cities seem to be playing nice, and those conversations are ongoing. Whether it is 24 or 28, it will be great, assuming everything stays in place, to have the Olympics back in the U.S. and to have it in Los Angeles again. So all the things seem to be pointed in the right direction. I think a lot of folks on the Paris side want to see the 100th anniversary, so they host in 2024. And for everyone in L.A., obviously, you don't want to be there waiting 11 years. But they're trying to settle it and figure it out. And then I think you're going to see some reform in the selection process for Olympic cities, because they'll have it planned out to 2028, and they can really get about some significant reforms in this process for hosting the games.
And I would love to see where you could get a couple of cities that rotate the winter games and a couple of cities that rotate the summer games, because we're looking what happens, the fallout when the Olympics pull out and move on. You know, some of these cities are just devastated. I wonder if Rio ever recovers from this and Greece ever recovers from this, whereas you could have it in the Pacific Northwest. Let's say you had Seattle as your central location and you used Portland and you used San Francisco and San Jose. Make it more of a sweeping, a couple of states involved in it. If you wanted to do Los Angeles and you wanted to do San Diego, that's where I think we should be headed, instead of saying we're going to put the onus on, you know, can Chicago or Boston host this? You almost have to make it a little bit more of a bigger community.
And that might be part of the reform down the line. That's why they want to award these games. And I do agree with the concept and the principle of the Olympic Games are there to try to enhance a city, and the legacy has not been enhancement of those cities in every regard since. So hopefully they can figure out a way to do that. But clearly a big established city like a Paris, like a Los Angeles, less likely to be significantly set back. Now, has the Olympic Games significantly set back Rio? It's too early to say that, but there are things that you hoped would be coming from the games that have it. And we knew that when we were there, too.
Yeah.
You were there. We could see that. So, you know, you think back to the games. Barcelona had very good games in '92. You're going to love this thing on the Olympic Channel, Dan. We're going to go back and show every game that the Dream Team played. It's 25th anniversary. There's a documentary with it. And that's some of the stuff the Olympic Channel can do. Go back and re-show this stuff, because I was thinking about it. I don't remember sitting and watching a Dream Team game other than during the '92 competition. And now for kids who only heard about the Dream Team, you get a chance to go back and watch them play some of these games, which will be fun to see Jordan, to see Barkley, to see those guys actually playing with this best basketball team ever.
Tune in this Saturday, the launch of the Olympic Channel, home of Team USA. It's a new 24/7 home of the Olympics. Speaking of just watching, it was fun to just watch Lonzo Ball play. There was nothing to do with his family. There was like everything, the seas parted, and he just walked in. He played basketball. It was fun to watch, and you got to see something that, if you're a Laker fan, there's a lot of promise there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if they're going to be any good anytime soon, but it was really fun to just watch him play last night.
What was LeBron doing there last night?
You know what's weird? Maybe it was his excuse to not go to the ESPYs, but I'm watching Lonzo wear his Kobe Bryant Nikes, okay?
Right.
Now, I have a theory here.
Okay.
It almost feels like we're saying to Nike, hey, we want to be in the family here. I'd love to have LeBron's blessing here. Would you buy Big Baller brand here? I don't know why else you would be wearing Kobe's shoes when you're trying to sell Big Baller brand.
It's such an interesting subplot, and all of it has taken away from what you talked about. I watch these summer league games. I'll put them on casually and watch them and not get too involved because you fall in love with guys. You remember they're not playing. They're playing against the guys they just played against for the most part. You'll get some guys with a year of NBA experience. This is not the defense or anything else they're going to see when they get there. But you just want to see if guys really have what it takes. And it looks like the early part of this draft lottery group has it.
Yeah.
And for Lonzo Ball, there are going to be bad nights like there were in the summer league, and then there are going to be nights where he plays really well. You would hope that the quality, like you said, the quality of play on the floor becomes the thing we talk about and not the other 4 or 5 things. However, the NBA has brilliantly found a way to do what football does, and that's stay in the conversation year-round. Dan, it's what baseball used to do. How many times did we always talk as kids about the hot stove league? That doesn't happen anymore. But now football, it's year-round. And basketball, the conversation's been better than the competition, to be candid.
Safe travels to the British Open there. When are you leaving?
I leave this weekend, get on the ground Sunday, and 1 week from right now we'll be about 10 hours into our first day of coverage. Can't wait.
Thank you, bud.
See you, bud.
All right, that's Mike Tirico.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.